Buns, burgers, and big ideas. Welcome back. I'm going to do the introduction today.
You are?
Yes, here.
Look,
I just did.
I'm here.
Yeah, this is Riley. For those of you that aren't watching on the YouTube. By the way, you can, right? Follow us on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We got that floating around there too. But Spotify.
Oh yeah, good old Spotify. That's one of my I like the Spotify.
I feel like Spotify is like the main go-to. You know.
Well, I feel a little lonely now. We've been having guests. And now it's just us.
We're back. It's just back to us.
I'm so lonely. No, I've got you. I've got you, babe.
There you go.
All right. See all sorts of songs today.
You got a friend in me. You're singing. I'm going to sing.
Is there auto-tune?
I hope so.
Yeah. So one of my favorite movies, I don't know if I've got a few favorite movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've shared it with you, right? Like Idiocracy is one of my favorites and some other dumb classic movies that have a bunch of one-liners. But Office Space. Honestly, one of my favorite movies. And I can't believe you haven't watched it.
I haven't. I know.
All right.
I'm horrible.
Maybe now?
I will.
Yeah?
For sure.
Well, you say that. You've said that before.
Weekend. I did say that before. Somebody asked me the other day if I was a movie person. I'm more of a TV show guy. I'm more of a TV show. Yeah. Which is like watching a movie anyway. So right. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Well, that's what they always say, right? Like you watch like 8 episodes, but it's like 4 movies. But no, so Office Space. We're gonna roll the clip here in a second, but if you haven't seen it, one of my favorites, has a whole bunch of one-liners that I think will at least make you laugh. At least it did for me. Yeah. It's not for everybody, I guess. But yeah, without further ado, let's roll it.
If you would you walk us through a typical day for you?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door. That way Lumberg can't see me. And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour.
Space out?
Yeah. I just stare at my desk. But it looks like I'm working. I do that for probably another hour after lunch, too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
Peter, would you be a good sport and indulge us and just tell us a little more?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something about TPS reports.
TPS stands for?
The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
Don't care?
It's a problem of motivation, all right? Now, if I work my ass off and Initech ships a few extra units, I don't see another dime. So where's the motivation? And here's something else, Bob. I have 8 different bosses right now.
I beg your pardon?
8 bosses.
8?
8, Bob. So that means that when I make a mistake, I have 8 different people coming by to tell me about it. That's my only real motivation, is not to be hassled. That and the fear of losing my job. But you know, Bob, that'll only make someone work just hard enough not to get fired.
8 bosses?
8.
Bob.
8 Bob.
Bosses? Bob.
So can I tell you, when I first talked about, because we structure things a little differently than most restaurant organizations or whatever. When I went to, and Guy and I were talking about how to restructure it, I said, listen, right now there's like 8 bosses between the crew person and you, right, as the operator. So like, how do we figure that out? So one of my main things off of Office Space was how to reduce the amount of people that we report to, right? Because it's just funny how, like, when you make a mistake, how many people come to you. And it's still that way. And I try to minimize. Like, I try to minimize. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, a change for sure. Yeah. Because you're exactly right. Like, and I'm in kind of that role where there are multiple, I don't want to say bosses, but multiple people, right? Multiple feedback routes.
You talk to a lot of people.
I do talk to a lot of people.
And your hands are in a lot of cookie jars.
Which I love. But it's like if there's one thing, then the other person says it, and the other it's just amplified, right? Yeah. But I mean, honestly, not toot my own horn, but most of the time it's high five.
Sure.
You know, it's praise, but
at the restaurant level, I would agree, right? Because if you have somebody on the grill, let's say they're cooking the meat wrong, right? You might have the kitchen manager coming to you. You might have a crew trainer coming to you. You might have, the shift manager and the assistant and
then
the
maybe
GM.
the GM. Oh my gosh. When my GM called me out, I was like, oh.
But we have all of this oversight, right? So like, how do we use our structure for a purpose, and how do we make sure that the feedback we're giving is valuable and useful, and without being, I guess, so reproductive
or micromanaging or like any like those things. We've talked a lot about people on our podcast, and people is our business.
Yeah.
And so I feel like this is the corporate-y, micromanagey, you have 8 bosses type philosophy. And we've found that that's not even where you get results.
Yeah.
If you actually spend time with the people and have a clear structure, it turns out it's a lot easier to get those results.
Yeah, it really can be. And the reporting structure is always going to be at least a little gray, right? Like, I think it's more about wanting to have conversations and not so much about like you're doing something wrong, right? Like that'd be the greatest part of all of this, right? Like, obviously your crew trainer can still train the person how to do the meat, right? Your kitchen manager should hopefully reinforce some of those things. The shift manager's looking to have good quality product, right? Like everybody has a role to play, but we need to just communicate with each other. Hey, I talked to, this person on the grill, and they understand if you could just follow up over the next few days and reinforce maybe the conversation.
Reinforce and encourage too. Because, motivation is killed by micromanagement. And when leaders only correct behavior and never coach behavior, employees just shut down. I mean, just like Peter. I mean, because I wouldn't want to go to work and get yelled at 8 different times.
I just zone out. Oh, man. How often do you think that happens? Yeah.
Yeah.
What I loved about part of what Peter said is I'll do just enough to not get fired, but that will only get people so far.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about that from a context of the restaurant industry and the leadership that we have and the people that are working for us, right? Like, there are people out there that are going to get away with the bare minimum. And I get it, right? It's going to happen. So as a leader, we have to be clear cut and motivational. You talked about all these people skills all at once. So level 2 stuff, how do you...
There's so many things.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you're paying attention as a leader in the restaurants, I think you'll find those people who are maybe Peter, right? And then you can have a conversation with Peter because now, again, I haven't seen the whole movie. But I imagine if Peter felt in a safe space to where he would be like, hey, Bob, I don't feel like, I'm being treated well, or I feel like I'm getting too much feedback, and have that open space for them to share that, then you might actually have the opportunity to coach them into a successful team member.
Yeah. And like you said, it's the fear of losing your job, right? Like, it will. It's only going to get our people and our results so far, right? And that's where we have to be better listeners. We have to have better people skills. We have to take these management skills that we're learning here on the podcast and other resources and all these management skills from, shadow of a leader, whatever you want to call it. We have to support our team, and we have to make them feel like we're there to help, not just be their boss.
Right.
And there's a big stark contrast there.
Big difference. My high school yearbook, I was just looking at the other day, and my senior quote was, the difference between a boss and a leader is a boss drives and a leader leads. And it was Teddy Roosevelt. And so like that, I just feel like there is a very stark difference between a manager and a leader, a boss and a leader. Leaders will always find the time to develop their team.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really, I feel like to me, it's the people difference.
Yeah.
It's, are you going to invest time into your team to make them better, or are you going to let them be Peter? Yeah. Essentially is what I feel like.
I agree. And can we just say that there are going to be some people here that are just punching in for the paycheck? Like, it's fine. Like, there's going to be people punching in for the paycheck. But what I would say is for those people that you can help identify, find out why they're needing the paycheck, right? If just to pay the bills, maybe, buy this or like just getting through rent. Like, I get it.
A good example too could be maybe a retiree.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody who doesn't need a full-time job and they just need a little bit to get by, right? They might not want to become this star player, but again, how do you inspire greatness every day?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge because there's going to be the disengaged employees, and that's the fun part about being a leader is finding the commonality, finding the thing that helps make them tick. Because I'm going to tell you flat out, there's something that makes everybody tick.
Oh, absolutely.
We talked about in an episode before about a rewards process, and I like how he said, well, if I work my butt off in a tech, whatever, and I don't make an extra dime, but now all of a sudden with the system that we have, and for our team that's watching, what I refer to our rewards reward system is like punching in with a purpose.
Yeah.
Because when you do get the results, you're actually going to get the reward points. You're going to earn more points that can be redeemed for, different prizes and gift cards. And I mean, we've had people get, AirPods and microwave ovens and blenders and, Amazon gift cards and like you name it. You name it, they've gotten it. Yeah. What was really cool is we put some points behind some of our like overnight results, and all of a sudden we have a restaurant where the person's like just results oriented, right? They're like, there is something in it for me.
I'm not just here minding the store, selling a few burgers at night.
Yep.
I'm actively helping this goal.
Yep. And out of our, 1,800 employees, we found something that helped that person tick, right? And that's the motivator. And like I said, before it might have been, well, if I work my butt off, Eric, whatever, they're going to be all gravy, but like I don't get anything.
Right.
Now we're giving. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess just find out how to help support your people. If they're in it for a paycheck, then how do we get them paid more? If they're in it for leadership abilities and learning more, then cool. How do we teach them more?
Well, and to that point too, there's some crew members who are in it for college, right? And they go to college and then they go off and do their big thing. I mean, I'll tell you, I still work for McDonald's, but a lot of times that entry-level job for these guys is their only true, real experience before the workforce, right? Until after college.
What they might call the real world.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think it's our responsibility to make sure that they understand what to actually expect from leaders that they're going to see in the future. Because we all have maybe that one boss that we can think back, when you were younger and be like, oh, that boss was mean, or that boss was this, or, so on and so forth. But I think what's super cool is right now, our organization is shifting that mindset.
Yeah.
And I think the whole world is shifting kind of in that mindset too, is emotions matter, motivation matters. You can't just yell for performance anymore. Right. I mean, you can, but it's not going to last as long.
Not as long. And that's where I'm telling you, after you watch Office Space, you're going to love it a little bit more because it really is for Peter. It's just he feels the routine of the everyday grind, and he's just unmotivated, and he's just looking for a change. And, I think we can help our people with that, regardless of what they're looking for in the future. So thanks.
Set him up.
Yeah, thanks for playing along with the Office Space clip. Like I said, one of my favorite movies. If you haven't, take a listen or watch it, I guess.
Yeah,
You're listening to us, watch them, right? But keep listening to us. So, yeah.
So don't be Peter and stare off for an hour. If you are unmotivated, let your leaders know.
Yeah.
Especially if you work for our organization, we'll be happy to have a conversation with you.
I'd love to. Absolutely. I think it's that's what we're here for. It's what I'm here for. It's what we're here for.
Yeah, it's what I'm here for too. Yeah. So listen, learn, lead. We will see you next time. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Buns, Burgers, and Big Ideas. We hope today's episode inspired fresh ideas for your leadership journey. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and keep learning with us as we continue to explore leadership in the QSR world. Until next time, take care and lead well.